I remembered this week.
Oh, did you? Okay. Hello, everybody, and are we live on all of them?
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the B.F.F Buzz episode
18.
We made it. We're almost to that 20.
Yep.
Welcome. You can see us live right now on 2 Facebook pages of ours. The first one is Bekah Friends Foundation and Child Cancer Aware. And then we have also, we're not doing Instagram Live right now, we're going to do TikTok Live. Since we have that new community out there, I thought now was a good time to try and reach out to them. Maybe there's some things that these people would like to learn too. So
Exactly.
And I have my mints so that there will be no throat tickles.
I got my water, so hopefully there's none on this
and
end.
I have my coffee. So anyway, and you can still follow us on Instagram at Bekah in Friends. It's BEKAH in as in no friends. It's all one word. So, and then you can also subscribe to us on YouTube. We're going to be making some changes on YouTube.
We are.
We're going to be making some changes. So we'll see how it goes. But we'll let you know as soon as we figure out how we're going to organize some things. We've got to adjust some stuff. So that's what we're going to do. Go ahead.
And our ways to donate are through our website at bekahandfriends.org or our Cash App at $Bekah's Friends 14.
And if your kiddo is a child cancer survivor, fighting cancer, or in remission, we don't care. You know, just as long as it's your child is part of the childhood cancer community. And you know what? Even if they're not, we don't care. Just we want the kids involved. And I love the pictures and stuff that they make. You know, that's why our signs are drawn out. You know, because Bekah, she would have done that just all the way around.
Oh, yeah.
But you have them draw us a picture or make us a card or write us a letter and tell us their story if they're a child of cancer kiddo. And then you can mail it to us. We're going to do a new segment as soon as we get some more coming in. We have one. But as soon as we get more coming in, we're going to do the mailbag. And all you have to do after you get the picture drawn is mail it to us at Bekah Friends Foundation, P.O. Box 629, Derby, Kansas 67037. And then put attention mailbag so we know what it's supposed to be for. But yeah, have them kids send that stuff in to us. Let's do some good vibes. I think we need some kids.
We got some kids that need some good vibes. But I was going to add to your mailbag, even if your kiddo is an angel and you want to get their story out.
Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. You know, if you've lost a child and you want your story out, write us a letter. You know, because what we're going to do, and I'll kind of give you an idea, what we're going to do is this will eventually be replaced with pictures that the kids have made for us or cards that were sent in or something like that. And this is all about the kids. So I want to make sure that, you know, we have that.
Mm-hmm.
I just think I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, I can see that too.
But yeah. And if the parents write a letter, or if the kiddos write a letter, you know, I don't mind sharing that and letting the whole world, whoever watches, you know, letting them know what these kids can endure some crazy stuff.
Yeah, and the way they tough through it.
Yeah, very much so. So, but yeah, let's get some good vibes out there. We really want to stick with that real quick.
Yeah. Hey, Elisa or Eliza, Eliza on TikTok.
Yeah. Hey, Eliza.
Hey, Eliza on TikTok. Definitely, they need some peace and comfort right now. I'm guessing from the story you got is that things are going well and they've kind of
Apparently she's not responding to treatment, so
Yeah.
mom and dad have decided quality over quantity.
Yeah.
I know that feeling. That's what I had to do. I had to make that choice when it came to my daughter and her treatment and all of that. It's an extremely tough decision to make for a parent. And so the family as a whole, Eliza's family's going to need all the prayers for peace and comfort they can get.
Mm-hmm. Kensington, prayers for no relapse.
Oh, we got scans and stuff coming up. Okay.
Jazzy Moses, possible relapse. Scans were not good. Checking bone marrow soon.
Okay.
And Miss Nori, one of our local kiddos, is in KC for treatment.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely want to keep all those kids in
Thoughts and prayers. And
mm-hmm.
send good vibes. You know, that's... Sometimes Reese,
Yeah.
he's having a rough time too. But I will tell you, if you have been following what's his name? Ashley Kane. Ashley Kane, his daughter's story, Azalea. She passed away this morning. And so his family is definitely going to need some thoughts and prayers, good vibes, good mojo, whatever you call it.
Mm-hmm.
They're definitely going to need it.
She was just a baby.
8 months old.
Yeah.
And I got a couple of questions, while we were watching that process play out. I got a couple of questions from a couple of people on TikTok that came in through TikTok. Mm-hmm. And so I answered the best that I could, but I did invite them to watch this because I told them I would talk about it a little bit. But people want to know why the babies don't survive that.
Yeah.
And so we're going to get into that with our discussion tonight and talk about some of the differences between infant leukemia and leukemia in pediatrics as a whole. And then we're going to follow that up with some metabolic changes with treatment. And some of that, could play into it. But, the biggest thing is what we're going to discuss. And I want to make sure that gets out there so that people really do understand. I also want to mention Miss Evie. She's one of our local kids. She is an AML survivor. She had her 6th rebirth day, is what we call it. In the cancer world, when a patient goes through stem cell or bone marrow transplants, that's given them a second chance of life. So what they typically call it is rebirth days. Yeah. So I definitely want to recognize Evie. Evie, she's one of my kids. Yeah, I love her. She's such a great.
That whole family.
Her whole family is awesome. Yeah, so definitely wanted to recognize her. Do you have any comments that you want to talk about?
Just Nick and Tess Lopez. Hi, ladies, all the way from San Antonio.
Hi.
First one over here, Cocoa Puffs Captic. I don't know. You're friends with them? Says hi, and then my son has DIPG.
Oh.
Yeah. LaShawn Wagner, who you're friends with as well, sending prayers and good vibes.
Thank
and
you.
Funny story, I was waiting for Elizabeth Fig to pop up over here. She's on TikTok today.
She's on TikTok today. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi, Elizabeth. I hope Caitlin is doing better. Caitlin is still in the hospital. Elizabeth is Caitlin's mom. Caitlin is a brain cancer. She is a survivor. But she has, a few months back, she had some complications with COVID, and then now she's dealing with infections in the shunt. I think Elizabeth posted, or maybe it was her husband. Her husband might have posted. I think he put it on the page that they were going to do another revision on the shunt, and she might be able to go home before the 21 days, but I might have misunderstood that. But definitely Caitlin needs some prayers, so we should probably keep her on our good vibe list.
Yeah.
She said, "Hey, cuties, love to you."
Love
Cocoa
you,
Puffs
Elizabeth.
is back in finally. She was gone when you said something, but have any of heard of the girl who's going to not make it? I'm going to assume she's probably talking about Eliza since it's on TikTok.
About what now?
She said, "Have you guys heard anything of the girl who's not going to?"
Oh, no,
And I don't know. I'm assuming she didn't say
I'm not
who.
sure. Now, I did see on TikTok this morning, because I was able to get on there for a short time, mom or dad, whoever runs that, they did post that she was having fun times with dad. And so, and that's, some people don't understand when these kids are sent home on hospice, they may be actively dying, but young people, they can still walk around. I mean, they're not in a coma, they're not bedridden. They usually walk out of the hospital, and it'll take some time for that decline. So you'll be able, and it'll kind of be what I would call, what I did call, and I did 1 year, and I have no idea why. A lot of people call it rallying. I call it a false spring.
I could see that.
They spring up and they're happy, and then all of a sudden the pain or something sets in. They have to start medication every few hours, but the kiddo is still up coloring and stuff like that, and then they rally, which is a technical stage in the dying process. Then they technically rally, and so people become confused in that. So I don't consider the first time or the first few days going home when they can walk out of the hospital and stuff like that. Now, of course, Becca's situation was different. She was bedridden. There was very little she could do. But I call it a false spring rather than rallying, because the rallying is actually, and I'll just say it the way that I look at it. It is the time that God gives those people and us, a gift to us. It's that time where God is saying, I'm getting ready to take them home. Make sure you say bye now.
Yeah.
So,
just to make sure everybody gets their goodbyes in.
Yeah. So, and it's not so much, and a lot of people think you're going to just sit there and say goodbye. No. There is absolutely no way for anybody to prepare for the death of anybody. I don't care how long they've been on hospice, how long they've been sick, you can't prepare for that. But it does give them an opportunity to spend some time, give them that last kiss and that last I love you. And, it's just something that's super important. So Eliza is going to have a period where she looks fine. She's going to have a period where she's going to look fine, and then things will start to decline. Then she'll have another boost, and then that will be basically the end. And that, unfortunately, it's very hard. It's very hard to watch it from the outside, but to be on the inside, Mom and Dad are going to need, and any siblings that she might have, they're going to need that love and support.
Oh, yes.
So, and with that, let me just get into this, because with the loss of Azalea today, like I said, I've received a couple of questions. People want to know why the babies are passing away. Well, let me just kind of put it into blunt terms. When an infant, which most of them are diagnosed, the infant leukemia is diagnosis of birth to 2 years old. Okay. Now, this leukemia, these types of leukemia may be acute lymphoblastic or acute lymphocytic or acute myeloid leukemia, but the cell growth and the way that it grows and how the body works those cells is the difference. It is much more difficult for an infant to fight that. They have not, another thing, they have not had time to build antibodies.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Okay, so infant leukemia has a much lower survival rate, unfortunately. It is something that I have struggled with because we've in 8 years we've worked with so many or seen so many, and it's very hard to watch.
Yeah.
One, for example, we have his anniversary is coming up. I believe it's May 4th or 5th, and that's Nathaniel. He had infant leukemia as well. He's one of our local boys.
I remember hearing about
his mom and dad, Sean and Christina. That cancer comes back just like Azalea's did. It comes back, and it comes back with a vengeance, and there's nothing they can do. Those cells have essentially free reign. They just do whatever the heck they want to because the body can't fight them. And this type of cell growth has been allowed to happen in their bodies. So it's very complicated. The biology of it is very different. So infant leukemia has a higher mortality rate than leukemia.
Yeah.
And you could basically say that they're flip-flopped. When you talk about leukemia in a child 2 years old to, I think it's 15, 2 to 15, they typically, there's about 94, 97% will survive. But infants, it's totally different. The cell growth is, the development of the cells are different. So that's why you're going to see that the mortality rate is a little higher in infants. And there are reasons, and I just mentioned a couple of them. Leukemia in children 2 years and older, I think you might remember we talked about the doctor who changed the entire leukemia protocol.
Yeah. I can't remember his name, but I do remember talking about it.
Yeah, it's a lot. I think it's a German name, but it flipped. That's another one that it flipped the survival rate in leukemia patients overall.
Yeah. Especially
in pediatrics, from only 10% survival to 90%. So it was a big deal. The other thing and this is going to kind of go along with another one of the reasons that the infants have a harder time with battling their leukemia. There is and I actually got this question. We had a girl named Danny who passed away a week or so ago. We did her angel, and somebody messaged and asked me, how come I said that was childhood cancer? 2 reasons. The first reason is Danny was battling when she was not an adult, and it carried on. But the other reason is because when a individual develops cancer and they are under the age of 23, their cancer responds the same as a child that's 13 or.
I did not know that.
It is how the body metabolizes the treatments that they are given. Your metabolism doesn't change until you reach about that 23 years old.
I can see that.
So that's why I say this is another reason that infants they struggle with that, with these treatments. They can't just give them chemo.
Yeah.
There's a process that goes with that. But the metabolic changes with treatment They don't go on. I mean, they don't come until later. So if I post an angel for a 22-year-old, that there could be two reasons. The one is they started fighting when they were kids, and the other is technically, biologically, they may be by law an adult, but biologically, their bodies are still fighting it as a child. And that sounds very, very weird. It did to me.
It does sound weird because, like you said, by law, they're an legal adult, but
Yeah.
Our bodies to fully come into them for that to change.
A lot of people don't
We're
realize
older than
that.
that.
And I didn't. I had no idea.
I mean,
But after Bekah passed away, I turned into. I went through this, and I still do. I went through this phase because Bekah said, "Did you know about this?" Well, I don't ever want anybody else to say to me, "Did you know? Do you know?"
yeah,
And me saying, "No, I didn't."
yeah.
Which is what I said.
You don't want to be caught in that panic mode again.
I don't. And so everything that I can learn about them, I do. Some things I have forgotten, and then they come back to me later, and But when I learned that, I was like, for real? Really? So it just kind of seemed like it was another dagger being thrown,
Yeah.
Because now, and that's why we do our sock club the way that we do.
Oh, yeah.
17 to 23.
Yeah.
Because,
The body itself is responding as a child would.
yeah, the metabolic changes haven't occurred. Of course, they dose it by height and weight. Height and weight and all that. But
It
still metabolizes in the body differently. And if they have that treatment as young people, they still have the same risks. Now, don't get me wrong. Chemotherapy has, in adults and adults, they still have a risk of organ damage and tissue damage too.
Oh, yeah.
But it's different for them because of how they metabolize that.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to talk about that a little bit because the questions came in, and I wanted to make sure that I explained a little bit. Of course, I could sit here all night and talk about it,
Oh, yeah.
and I could give you plenty of examples. But I, with the loss of Azalea and the questions about why so many babies. Now, of course, not all babies have passed away of leukemia.
Right.
I mean, we've had some babies that have been lost to all of them. We even had a baby lost to cervical cancer
Oh, my goodness.
and ovarian cancer. She was diagnosed at 8 months old.
Oh, my
So, we could sit and talk about it all night.
Oh,
But imagine trying to give when all of the medication, and I say medication because that's what chemotherapy is.
yeah.
You've got vancomycin, for example. That's a chemotherapy. It's actually an antibiotic. That's essentially what it is. Vincristine, same thing. You've got, but they're a little more. They're different. So chemotherapies are different because of how they're developed. But if you've got only ovarian cancer protocol medications that are developed for women with with ovarian cancer, and they're all adults, and you give that to a child, they've not experimented that with children. They haven't put that through trials with children.
I wouldn't want it touching my kid.
And
I want him to
well,
survive if that's the only thing that I can do. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you're stuck in that.
Well, I will tell you this. When Bekah was diagnosed, they thought she had bone cancer. They thought that this tumor was attached to her hip, her pelvic bone. They didn't realize until after the first dose or first round of treatment, chemotherapy, was that it was ovarian cancer. The pathology hadn't come back.
Oh.
She was diagnosed September 11th. The pathology didn't come back until September 26th. Her first round of chemotherapy was September 13th. 13th. It was 2 days after she was admitted to the hospital. Diagnosed September 11th, surgery September 12th, chemo September 13th. But they started her on treatment for bone cancer, for rhabdomyosarcoma. So her treatment wasn't even
near what she actually...
it wasn't even for ovarian cancer. But it worked.
It did?
Yeah, her tumor shrunk down 40% in the first treatment. So it was working.
Yeah.
The problem is with ovarian cancer, because of how complex this stupid cancer is, she was stage 4. Now it is staged based on where it has spread, and it was pretty much spread everywhere. But as far as the main tumor, the football size tumor, it shrunk at 40%, and it was even more. It was about that big by the time they went in to do surgery, but found that the cancer had her intestines and her peritoneal wall and cavity was essentially concrete. It was cancer. So, but that chemotherapy worked.
Yeah.
And you'll find, if you watch some of these kids' battles, they may try a different protocol for another cancer on this other cancer. I mean, they don't close off most of the time. They don't close off any possibility of something different. Especially if you've got something that's not working.
Yeah.
So, but the metabolic changes is something that, it's one of those things that separates, let me put it this way, it's what separates the men from the boys. Okay?
Yeah.
That way you don't ask me
Yeah.
to break it down. But so anyway, I wanted to discuss some of that stuff and make sure that I tried to answer those questions as simple and basic as possible without going into things that nobody would understand, and you wouldn't. Yeah. And it's a lot of it is still difficult for me to understand, only because I'm not a biology person.
Yeah.
I've never been into that. So
I hear you.
but let's check on comments.
You don't have any?
None?
No.
Okay. Got
I was
anything?
just going to say, you were talking about how different stuff works with different things, and they do the genome sequencing, and you could have, like, bone cancer, and something for thyroid cancer would be the chemo that works for you.
We talked about genome sequencing. No, did we? We did not talk about that. I found a video that I did on that. I found the video in my Facebook memories, and it was the funniest thing, but it was a necessary thing. Yeah. This room used to be the foundation room. This is my house, and this used to be the foundation room. We had shelves all over.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It was full of Bekah Buddy stuff.
Yes. Okay. Well, now all of that is in the office up at the downtown. And what I did was I had gotten a donation of My Little Ponies, the little ones, and they were all kinds of colors. And we had like 2 or 3 baskets full by the time we got to this point. But I had a basket full, so I thought, I had gotten a question about genome sequencing, and I said, okay, how do I explain this and break it down so people can understand? So what I did was I dumped out on my little makeshift table all of the My Little Ponies, and I explained what they do. They go in there, they can take a piece of your tumor that's no bigger than my fingernail.
Oh my goodness.
The tip of my fingernail.
Like 32nd or 16th of an inch.
Yeah, not even, I mean, it's tiny.
Minute.
Yes. But in that little piece of tumor, they can learn as much as possible the dominant markers that your tumor is made up of, and they can find what treatments will, with that information, they can find and try what treatments will kill that tumor. And that's what she's talking about.
Okay.
They can do genome sequencing on your tumor, and say it's an ovarian cancer tumor. They take a piece of that tumor, they sequence it, they find that the marker A is the dominant marker, and they find that this medication or chemotherapy that is typically used for somebody who has brain cancer, and they test it out, and if it eats it up, then they say what it does, it allows them to create a chemotherapy protocol for your specific tumor.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
so I hope
pinpoints.
it creates a map of the markers of the tumor and allows them to find a good treatment that will work. So yeah, genome sequencing, and that's probably a subject we need to talk about.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You were saying that, and I'm like, this.
yeah, yeah. So you would be surprised, and like I said, if you watch some of the pages, you would be surprised how many kids are actually receiving a protocol that is not specific to their cancer. A lot of people will scream they want a cure for cancer. I heard you say that.
I have.
But if you understood that we can say, for example, I'll use 2 kids in our area. Alicia had liver cancer. Logan has liver cancer. But if you were to put both of their cancers together, they may have different markers in each tumor. You can't create one treatment
And cover everybody.
and cover everybody. It doesn't work that way. It's a biological thing. Everybody is different. Unless everybody is different. So we can say, and I would love to have a cure for cancer. But I would settle for them to at least develop more medications for our children.
Yeah.
At this point, because I do understand the biology of a lot of these tumors, and you can say, Becca had ovarian cancer. Gina had ovarian cancer. Kim and Jill. But I can tell you this. Every single one of their tumors are going to be different because every single body was different. So I would love to be able to say we can cure cancer. Unfortunately, that's not the case.
Let's get some newer medications out and maybe get our survival rates up.
We should be at a point, in my opinion. I am 49 years old. In my 49 years, we should be at a point where more people are living with cancer than dying with cancer. A lot of people think that there is going to be a survival rate that is this much. But that's just for 5 years. How many people do you know, or you probably don't. You haven't been around that long. There are patients that die several years after cancer treatment for multiple different things. Whether it be organ and tissue damage, suicide because of the PTSD, and mental issues that come with that. There's any number of reasons that they could die, and it's still cancer related.
Oh yeah.
So they don't take that into account, but I do. I take that into account. So anyway, I didn't mean to get off on that, but I wanted to make sure that I discussed it.
Yep.
Do you have anything else before?
Elizabeth said, with your point there, you're talking about everything's different, everybody's different. Every cancer has its own personality, which is
Exactly
true.
Exactly.
And you can't,
If anybody could say that separates the men from the boys, and every cancer, you can say it's liver cancer, but every body's cancer has its own personality. That's the perfect analogy. I love that.
Yeah.
That's my take on the genome sequencing. I feel like that's
It
a
is.
step in the right
It is
direction
it is, most
Yeah.
to
definitely.
where people would live with it more than they are dying, you
Right.
know? Because they'll
Right,
have
and
better
you're right.
options.
So, follow us on our social media platforms. I'm getting a tickle.
Which are 3 Facebook pages, Bekah and Friends Foundation, Child Cancer Aware, Ovarian Cancer Awareness, our TikTok, which is Bekah_in_friends, or Instagram, which is Bekah in Friends, or YouTube, which is our Bekah and Friends Foundation.
Yes. And you can go to YouTube and search that.
Mm-hmm.
And
one of the top ones, first ones to pop up on YouTube.
yeah, it should just pop right up.
Yeah.
It's definitely unique.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Once again, our ways to donate are through our Cash App, which is $Bekah's Friends 14, or our website at bekahandfriends.org. She confused me. She grabbed the Cash App, and I'm used to doing the website first.
Don't let anybody fight cancer alone. There's any number of things that you can do to help a person who is fighting cancer, and even down to letting their kids come hang out at your house. If it's a friend of yours who's a mom of small kids, go get the kids. Give mom a little bit of nap time.
Yeah, or some me time. Maybe she can go soak in a tub or something.
Yeah,
And just have some.
And you know, a child. Don't hesitate to jump in there in some way. And talk to the family. Maybe you can help them by doing their laundry. Maybe you can help them by shoveling snow. They need to vacuum out the car. Maybe you can take the car down and get it vacuumed out. You know, any number of things that you can do. So with that, I hope everybody has a wonderful week. I will notify everybody of our changes. We're going to change the schedule on YouTube. And I will notify everybody on what we decide to do. I think we have it figured out, but I don't want to jump too quick.
Yeah.
So,
I confirmed here.
yeah, so I hope everybody has a wonderful week. And we will...
Bella got to say her presents.
Yeah, she's got to go dinging everywhere. I need to take that thing off of her. Anyway, I hope y'all have a good week, and we will talk again
Next.
I think it'll be Wednesday. I think
Yeah.
you'll see it this Wednesday, and we'll change our schedule next week. I
Yeah.
think that's how it's going to go. So with that, hope y'all have a good one. Peace.
Peace.